Ranboo is soon going to be the most important character on the Dream SMP, maybe apart from TommyInnit, but he's going to be a big part of the storyline and the lore, and in this video I'm going to tell you why. And if you don't know much about him, don't worry, I'm going to be talking about him in this video, and even if you've never seen his stream before, you should be able to follow along fairly easily. But before I tell you who he is, make sure that you're subscribed, and also I have a Discord, and I even made a dedicated channel just for Dream SMP theories, so that maybe you can have some input into these videos. With that being said, guys, let's get into the video. So who is he? Ranboo joined the Dream SMP on November the 27th, last year, 2020, and from then, he's been a big part of the lore. And because of that, he grew in popularity so much that he is now the most subbed person on Twitch with 100,000 subs, which is insane. He's also known for sounding a bit like Technoblade, and in fact, he first blew up because of a TikTok about him sounding like Technoblade, and he's also known for his amazing TikToks. Now, when it comes to the Dream SMP, he's very close friends with Tubbo, canonically and also behind the scenes, and this is clear because Ranboo has appeared in many of Tubbo's streams that are nothing to do with the Dream SMP or Minecraft, and same the other way. And as I said, he is very involved with the Dream SMP storyline, which is the main thing I'm going to be discussing in this video, so let's jump right into the lore. Now, Technoblade often jokes about Ranboo being the main character as he has these abilities, which I'm going to be talking about more in detail in a second, but Techno does joke a lot about him being the main character. So let's talk about his relationship with Technoblade. I think a very important part of their relationship is that Ranboo actually lives near Technoblade and Filza. They all live in like a enclosed area where Technoblade's base is in the snow biome, and that location is also very close to the stronghold, which is actually now the Syndicate room. And the Syndicate is obviously very important to Technoblade as it's his group basically, which Ranboo is now part of. He actually joined the Syndicate not too long ago, literally I think yesterday or before yesterday as of recording this video. So he is very new to the Syndicate, but he is now an official part of it. Now, something about Ranboo is that he has a lot of Enderman traits, and one of those traits is that there's a lot of Enderman, like the actual mobs, near Technoblade's base, and that's because of Ranboo. Now, I just want to make something clear. I don't actually know if this is like a normal Minecraft thing. Maybe in like the biome that they're in, maybe it's like natural to spawn a lot of Enderman there, but I'm pretty sure that's not true, and I'm quite certain that there's a plugin or something in the background running to make these Endermen spawn in big numbers, because you don't see as many Endermen like Lamanberg and other places like that. And yeah, basically 100%, very soon we're going to be just seeing more sort of Ranboo X Technoblade content when it comes to the Syndicate, maybe them arguing, whatever. There's going to be a lot of content coming out of a collaboration with Ranboo and Technoblade on the Dream SMP. A few minutes ago I was talking about the Syndicate and how Ranboo is now part of the Syndicate, and the thing about the Syndicate is that Technoblade doesn't want anyone to know about it, as he said to Ranboo to not tell anyone about the Syndicate. And the thing is, Ranboo is very close with Tubbo, and Tubbo is not allowed to know about the Syndicate and the people in it, which might cause some issues with the relationship with Ranboo and Tubbo, or maybe Ranboo and the Syndicate, which kind of all depends on if Ranboo tells Tubbo about the Syndicate or whatever happens. So let's talk more about Ranboo and Tubbo and their relationship, which is actually a relationship apparently. I didn't know this, but apparently they're actually married canonically. Now, I tried to find like a bit of footage for the marriage and stuff, but I actually couldn't find any, so I don't think they're like officially married, but they did adopt a kid, and that kid is a baby pig man called Micheal. But yeah, Tubbo and Ranboo are just extremely close friends, and I'm sure they spend a lot of time on just Discord after streams and before streams, and they're just really close friends. They're also building a hotel together to rival the TommyInnit hotel, which I found is quite interesting because obviously Tubbo and Tommy are very close friends as well, and Tubbo is trying to rival TommyInnit with Ranboo, so you know, there's a bit of drama I guess there. But yeah, Tubbo and Ranboo literally stream together all the time, and not even on Minecraft, they also stream CSGO together and even Fortnite at some point. They're very close friends, that's basically what I'm trying to say. So basically 100% we're going to see more Tubbo x Ranboo content very soon, just like with Technoblade, and we'll definitely see the storyline develop with the conflicts between Snowchester and the Syndicate, if there is going to be any, and maybe the conflict between Ranboo, Tubbo, and Technoblade. Now, the one thing that Tubbo actually doesn't know, and to be fair, we don't even know either, but the TNT that got TommyInnit stuck in the prison were most likely set off by Ranboo. At least we think that's the case. And we have seen Tubbo trying to find out who's responsible for Tommy's death, because he's obviously quite sad about it, and because Ranboo is technically the person responsible for Tommy's death, that could cause some drama in the relationship, because after that, Dream obviously killed Tommy, and we know the rest of the story. But a very important part of the Ranboo lore is his relationship with Dream, because Dream actually controls Ranboo, from what I understand. Whenever Dream and Ranboo kind of come into contact, Dream always seems to know like what's happening with Ranboo, and we've seen some weird stuff when Ranboo went into the prison to meet Dream. So yeah, it's quite clear that Ranboo is somehow controlled by Dream. And obviously Ranboo doesn't like that, and he doesn't like Dream, but he does try to at least open up to him because he knows that Dream knows something about Ranboo that he doesn't. And that's the thing with Ranboo's character. Ranboo is very confused on who he is, where he comes from, and all that stuff. And I really think that Ranboo is a part of Dream's supposed plan to get out of prison, because obviously the thing with the TNT is a big part of Dream getting out of the prison, because maybe TommyInnit might help Dream to get out of the prison, or maybe a motivation to let Dream out. And there's also other ways that Ranboo can be involved with the escape of Dream. For example, because Dream controls Ranboo, he might go to the Syndicate and try to convince Techno to help break Dream out, for example. Okay, so now we've talked a lot about the relationships between Ranboo and other characters on the Dream SMP. I now want to go into more detail on Ranboo and his character and the special things about him. So the first thing I want to talk about is this thing that he has, which is called the Enderwalk state. And from what I understand, is basically a state when he gets very confused and unaware of his surroundings, and everything becomes really weird to him, and he gets really confused, basically. And I think that's because he's half Enderman and half something else, he keeps switching from one personality to another. And speaking of him being half Enderman, he actually has a lot of Enderman traits as his character. For example, the whole thing with the Enderman spawning near his base is very similar to what happens in the end, where there's obviously a lot of Enderman in the end dimension. And he also has a very powerful power, which is he has Silk Touch on his hand, meaning he can break a regular grass block, and for normal players that would drop as a dirt block, but for him it will drop as a grass block, which is the same thing that happens when Endermen pick up, for example, a grass block. The other thing that I also found on the wiki is that he apparently takes very minor damage when he's in water and he's not wearing armor. Now I'm pretty sure it's not like massive damage, as I said, like if he was to jump in lava, for example, but he does apparently take minor damage, which is also an Enderman trait, as if you didn't know, Endermen cannot go in water, they'll just teleport away. The other very important part of his character is that he has very short-term memory, and because of this he actually has a special book in which he writes down things that happen so that he can remember them in the future. For example, when he joined the Syndicate, he had to write down that he joined the Syndicate just in case in the future he forgets. And speaking of him being in the Syndicate is actually very much anti-egg, which actually brings me on perfectly to the next thing I want to talk about, which is the egg and what Ranboo thinks about the egg and stuff like that. And to put it simply, Ranboo does not like the egg because he doesn't like how it corrupts people and it makes things just bad, but he is quite weird towards the egg. What I mean by this is that when he came in contact with the egg, when Bad Boy Halo trapped him and he couldn't get out, he felt very sick after that happened. And that clearly shows that the egg has done something very bad to Ranboo. Maybe it said something awful, or maybe it's just painful or something like that. But one thing that we do know is that Ranboo heard Dream's voice coming from the egg, which actually got me thinking, what if Dream is the egg? And that's quite a big theory, and I don't really want to get into that right now, but I mean, it could be a thing. And yeah, Bad Boy Halo is just trying to persuade Ranboo and the Syndicate in general to like the egg, as obviously the Eggpire doesn't really have many members in it yet, and they obviously need members to defend the egg. So now I'm going to be talking about some extra theories that I have. So basically anything that I'm about to say is just theories, and it includes your theories as well that you guys gave me in the comments. But the first theory actually comes from me, and it's about Ranboo's skin. If you didn't know, this is what Ranboo's skin looks like, and I'm going to be focusing on his face and the fact that he's obviously half Enderman and half something else. And what I found on the wiki is that the other side, the white side with the red eye, is just the unknown side, and Ranboo doesn't even know what that side is. And that side has red eyes and obviously just looks ominous and evil, and the Enderman side has green eyes, which actually, from what you guys told me in the comments on the Foolish G video, the green is actually supposed to represent like the repelling of the red of the egg, if that makes any sense. So maybe the Enderman side is the good side of Ranboo, but the white side, or the unknown side, is the evil part of Ranboo. So let's now hear some of your theories. Okay, so I couldn't actually find any comments on my channel, so I went over to Kian KSG's video on Ranboo, and I found this theory. But his theory is that Ranboo was hypnotized by Dream, and that makes him act very Enderman mode whenever he sees the smile, obviously on Dream. And I think that's a very valid theory because, I mean, he does that whenever he sees Dream Dream, the interaction always ends in some really weird way. So yeah, I do think that this guy's onto something. Okay, so what will happen next when it comes to Ranboo and the Dream SMP lore and everything like that? Well, I think that Dream will somehow manipulate Ranboo to help him escape the prison, maybe with Tommy or something like that, or maybe with Technoblade, and actually, yeah, probably with the Syndicate in general, especially as Dream has said that Technoblade owes him a favor, so Technoblade will also probably help. I also think that the relationship with him and Tubbo will break down a little bit. I don't think permanently because, I mean, they have a kid, foolishly built them a mansion and everything, but I do think that the relationship will have to go over a few hurdles. The next thing I also wanted to talk about is that he could actually be corrupted by the egg. Now, the thing is, on one hand, he most likely won't be corrupted by the egg because he is super against it, but on the other hand, he acts really weird towards the egg, so there's not really much telling, but it's like a 50-50 chance that he's gonna be corrupted by the egg or manipulated by the egg or whatever at some point. And the last theory I have is that he's gonna come in contact with Tommy, whether it's in the prison or something like that, and the main reason why I think that is because he mentioned how Tommy died to the Syndicate, and obviously anything discussed in the Syndicate meeting will most likely have a big role in the storyline. So yeah, that's it for the video. It was a pretty juicy one. Click on this video on screen right now, and also make sure that you're subscribed to see more Dream SMP related content. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.